before we go any further, I want to recognize Haley for all of her efforts in making this morning work just the way it should. Haley, tighten up. I also want to recognize the people we're here to honor who have been honored here before. We're going to bring 7 new people into the N-Club Hall of Fame today, but there are several who have been previously inducted and honored, and they are here today. At the end of the ceremony, we'll have them come up on stage, but right now, I want to start with the Grand Demon, Coach Johnny Emmons. You don't need to stand. You just need to wave and fork them. And then with the rest of you N-Club Hall of Famers, and like I said, there are several, would y'all just stand at this time and be honored with a round of applause, please? And a guy who's not in the N-Club Hall of Fame yet, but knows everyone who is and knows everybody who's in here. Coach Black, thank you for being here this morning. It's never a good thing to make the president nervous. And he's got 23 different obligations before noon today, so he's looking at me saying, "Shut up, Dougie, let me speak." So, the president of Northwestern State University, one of our own, Demon Letterman, Northwestern coach, Natchitoches Northwestern from the core, Chris Maggio. Dr. Maggio.
Thank you, Doug. Good morning. Thank you, Grant. Good morning, everybody. Let me tell you, it's an honor to be here and standing before you as president of Northwestern State University this morning. You know, when I come to this event, something that I've done for probably 40 years, I feel like a kid again. Because as a kid growing up in Natchitoches, and my dad bringing me to this event, and I want to thank Coach Emmons and Coach Leday and the crew for starting the N-Club and the N-Club Hall of Fame ceremonies. It was just a magical moment each and every year as you could see the Demon Greats being honored. And now as I looked at the recipients today, I guess I realized I was getting a little older. It was not folks that I looked up to, but folks I went to school with and folks that I coached and as an administrator saw them play on their fields. And what struck me more than anything out of this group was not only were they outstanding athletes, they're outstanding people. And that's what makes Northwestern State University special. To all of our alumni that are here and to our guests, I want to let you know, right now at Northwestern, we're on one of those magical runs. Y'all think back to your playing careers when you were just on that team that just had that magical run where things were falling together. They're doing great. That's what's happening at your university right now. This fall, we had the largest enrollment in the 133-year history of Northwestern State University, 10,572 students. Our academic programs are thriving. Our student life and student experience are exploding in the involvement that we have with our students. Our alumni are coming back to the university in record numbers. And I want to thank you all for that. Northwestern is a special place, and as you can tell, and I especially want to say to the guests that are here with us today, I hope you can feel that magic. I hope you can feel the specialness of this small school in Northwest Louisiana. And I want to thank everybody for that. I want to congratulate each and every one of our inductees today for your hard work and what you've turned out to be in your years since you've left Northwestern. I want to especially say congratulations to a young lady that almost 30 years ago, I guess, that I got a phone call from a gentleman in Baton Rouge who I was recruiting his daughter, and she ended up going to another university. But he said, I met this young lady as I was a summer track coach, and she was on another team, KY Track Club in Baton Rouge, and you need to call her. I just noticed not only was she good, but she was an outstanding person. And I just want to say that from that phone call that I made out to Taft Community College in California, and my first time I spoke to Marlene Garner on that phone, I knew it was something special. So, Marlene, we're so proud of you, and all the other inductees this morning. Folks, I hope you all have a great day. I want to apologize in advance that I do have several things that I got to get to this morning. We're going to try to stay as long as we can, and I will have to duck out. But congratulations to everybody, and we'll see y'all at the game tonight. Forkham Demons.
I'm going to grab this thing because it just works better in my hand than it does in that stand. All right, we've heard from number 1. Let's hear from number 1A, a guy who has been here for 21 years now as our director of athletics. There's no director of athletics in the history of the state who served that long. Either he's crazy or he's very good or a little bit of both. Greg Burke.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. I just want to welcome you on behalf of our coaches, our staff, and our student athletes. This is definitely one of the most special days of the year. Homecoming on any campus, when you welcome your alumni back, but particularly, I absolutely love and look forward to this event every year. And we're going to hear in a little while here some great presentations, followed by some great acceptance speeches. And every year, it's a little bit different, and it's something new, and it's something special. And I think that's what makes NSU a special place. Dr. Maggio talked about the momentum that we have. We've got a record enrollment of 10,572 students right now, and that's a number that is ingrained in my mind. I love to say it over and over and over, and next year we're going to keep getting that number higher. But you know, the culture is very special on our campus. And we have a lot of former athletes here, obviously including our inductees, and I feel like we've got a very special culture in our athletic department. I am really, really touched by the fact that we've got, sitting amongst this group, 5 former coaches. And boy, I'm going to try Coach Goodwin, Coach Cox, Coach McAllister, Coach Smith, and who's the one? I wrote them down. And Coach Johnson, who's sitting right here, right next to me, right under my nose. But y'all former athletes, stop and think about the fact that these former coaches think so much of you, so much of this program to come to this induction ceremony. The culture that this department has now is something that we've had for a long, long time, and those coaches deserve a lot of credit for what's in place right now and what's going to continue to happen as we move forward. We recently developed, we've had a mission statement for a long time, and we recently developed what's called a vision statement. And a vision statement is supposed to be a one-sentence description of what your desired outcome is for your student athletes and your department every day. Our vision statement is to embrace a sustained effort of developing student athletes as competitors, scholars, and role models. And we've got a ton of competitors, scholars, and role models in this room. Obviously, a handful of them are going to get special extra recognition, but every former student athlete in this room qualifies. So proud of what you guys have done as you've gone out into the world. The reason that we come and work on this campus every day is because of our students. The reason we're still here every day is because of you guys as alumni. So we appreciate you. Please stay engaged. Please continue to come back. We have a lot of exciting things that we're about to roll out, and you'll be hearing about them for our athletic program. Doug already acknowledged Haley, but I'm going to do the same thing. I am extremely blessed to have somebody of her talent, her ambition, and her passion. And as a former student athlete, you can't get any more passionate about this place than to have Haley working alongside me. And like Doug said, this is my 22nd year as AD. I was also here for about 7 years prior to that as an assistant AD. I know more people related to this university than anywhere else in the world. And I love my alma mater up in Ohio, but I'm not sure that it stacks up to how much I love NSU. And we want to continue with our great president to take this university to greater heights, and athletics must have a role in this university continuing to go upward. And we're going to look forward to getting you guys even further involved in doing that. So it's great. It's going to be a great homecoming day. It's going to be a great homecoming night in Turpin Stadium. Everybody have a great day. Congrats, inductees. Forkham Demons.
You know, there are times when Greg will send me something he wants to proofread before it goes out, and those remarks were not among them. Okay, he mentioned the Fab Five of coaches, former coaches. It's actually a Super Six. There's just one other former coach, head coach, who's here today, Dr. Maggio. And, of course, with Dr. Maggio is our First Lady. And, Marlene, I don't know if you really realize how significant you are in their lives. But I think it was 1992, the conference meet was over in Nacogdoches. And Jennifer calls me and says, I want to go see Marlene Garner run. Can I ride over with you? And she said, you know, that Lady Demon coach is kind of cute. And from there, it kind of took off. So you're the reason the Maggios got married. I just want to give you credit. That's really good. All right, we saw the great former coaches. We've got at least a couple current coaches, current coaches, 4 current coaches. I keep looking around to see more and more. With the current head coaches who are coaching Demons and Lady Demons, please stand up and be recognized real quick. And I know a lot of our teams are competing or practicing even as we speak, but there are some current student athletes in here. If you guys would stand up, we're real proud of each and every one of you. Okay, why are we here this morning? Well, first of all, the purpose of the Northwestern State University N Club is to provide opportunities for NSU letter winners to continue their relationship with the Northwestern State Athletics. Our coaches and all the way from the president on through the university, we don't recruit for 4 or 5 years, we recruit for a lifetime. And the N Club is a representation of that value. So we appreciate everybody who's here this morning because you understand the deep commitment that is involved with being a student athlete or a coach here and how it carries on through the rest of your life. And we're here to recognize people who have been extraordinary in their accomplishment. And 6 of them are here with us today. And if any of you could see the ballot that the selection committee reviews, it's astounding to see the people who don't get enough votes to be elected. They're great. But you 6 who are here today, you're elite. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Now, Marlene, I understand that I know that you ran the 100-meter dash. I don't believe you ever false started, right? No. So the gun didn't make you nervous, so speaking shouldn't make you nervous, right? Well, okay, well, maybe not. And Ronnie, you did 93 yards one day on the football field, school record, longest run. And then, you know, you ran 100 meters faster than anybody ever did. You don't have to be that fast with your speech this morning, but, you know, a little longer. Maybe some training 100 meters or whatever. But we're going to have fun. And to begin why we're here, first and foremost, we go back to Dr. Maggio, but this time he did it on video.
It's an honor for me this morning to tell you a little bit about one of our honorees, Marlene Garner Gibson. I had the pleasure of meeting Marlene, a couple decades ago, in the early 1990s when I was track coach at Northwestern. I actually was introduced or was told about Marlene from another gentleman, a coach and a dad of an athlete that I was recruiting. Usually I like to tell stories of when I win recruiting battles, but I lost a battle. But the dad told me that his daughter was going to go to LSU and run, but says, there's another person I think you should recruit. And he gave me the name of Marlene Garner. Well, of course, I quickly looked up her name and took his advice and found out that Marlene was from Baton Rouge, was a phenomenal high school track athlete, and was running at a community college out in California. So I immediately got the contact information and called Marlene. And what I found on the other end of the line was the most pleasant person I believe I've ever talked about. And you could tell that she really wanted to get back to Louisiana after she graduated from community college. And of course, we're sitting here talking today because she did make that choice to come back to Louisiana and run for Northwestern State University. Marlene was truly an exceptional athlete, one that a coach in his career only gets to recruit people of that caliber athletically, only probably just a few times in her career. Could have run anywhere she wanted to in the country, any Division I school at the highest level. But I think she found a bond at Natchitoches, and of course her love for the state of Louisiana and coming back. And so that's really what started out a great career at Northwestern. What I can tell you about Marlene, besides being, and we'll all hear about her records, her winning the Southland Conference Championship, the first Northwestern Lady Demon track and field athlete to qualify for the NCAA track meet, the first Lady Demon track and field athlete to qualify for the Olympic trials. All great accomplishments. But what I want to talk to you about is the person that Marlene is, everything that she stands for. She was a fierce competitor on the track. Every year I think she went into the Southland Conference as probably a number 4 or number 5 seed. But each year she won the conference championship because she was a competitor. She was a great teammate. She was a member of our relay teams, and of course loved to run the 4x1 relay. That 4x4 that was a little bit different. That quarter mile, we could talk about that in another session. But was a great teammate, a great relay competitor, and you could always count her when it was time to put it all on the line. Marlene was going to be there. Southland Conference champion, 100 meters, 200 meter phenomenal runner, and again the first person to qualify for the trials and the NCAA championships. But I also want to talk about Marlene as a person. She was somebody that made her teammates better because she would always lift them up. She would be there for them through the rough times, but she would also be there in the good times as well. She was there to encourage. She was there to work hard at practice, especially on those days when it might have been hot and through some grueling practices. You could always count on Marlene to do the right thing. Of course, I've coached a lot of phenomenal people throughout my coaching career at Northwestern. But Marlene ranks up there at the top because of the person that she was and continues to be, the fierce competitor that she was, and what she did for our overall program. She was a trailblazer. She was our first person that was at the level that we set some goals and said, Marlene, if you do these things, you can qualify for the NCAA championships. You can qualify for the Olympic trials. Marlene did the work to get there. She was probably the first person at that level, but it wasn't all natural. She was a hard worker. So it took the natural ability that she had as well as that work ethics. And when you combine that together, you got a championship athlete. So Marlene, we're so very proud of you today, so very proud of you. Here we are, over 2 decades later, and happy to show our athletes of today the accomplishments in the early years of Northwestern State University in track and field. And so happy for you as a trailblazer to set the standard. And I know you're as happy as I am that some of those records that you set a couple decades ago are now broken, both the individual and relay records, because that's what it's all about. We want to see the next generation to be better than the ones that we were. So I know you're pulling for our current athletes, and I know that you're very happy to know that you're not the only person ever to qualify for the NCAA. You were the first. We now not only have other qualifiers, we have an NCAA champion for the Lady Demons track and field, but you're the one that started it all. So thank you so much for what you did for Northwestern State University Lady Demon track and field and what you continue to do for the Demons.
Ladies and gentlemen, N-Club Hall of Famer Marlene Garner Gibson.
like to give honor to God for allowing me to stand here today. My athletic ability is truly a gift from God. When I started to prepare this speech, I thought of many stories about many races that I could tell you. But I don't want to tell you my stories. What I want to do is thank all the people in my life who have made running such a wonderful experience for me and who have collectively made this moment possible. First, I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for judging me worthy of this honor. It is certainly one of the most meaningful and personal honors I've received. I'm really proud to be standing here in front of you. Secondly, I want to thank President, AKA Coach Maggio, for all of his support and encouragement. He pushed me to work harder every day on the track. I especially want to thank my friends and family for their support throughout the years. Today is no different. So many of you traveled to be here today, and I feel so blessed to have each and every one of you here. You all know how important you are to me, and I am grateful that you chose to share this day with me. Next, my three sons, Marcus, Devin, and Jaden. I tried to get each one of them to run track, but your response was, "Mom is just running." All the time. I know that you would have been great runners, but it's okay that you followed your own heart. I still love you. I hope that I have made you proud, and I have also been blessed with the most loving husband of 19 years. I couldn't see myself without you. Thank you for being my best friend. I am lucky enough also to have an amazing stepfather and mother-in-law. So thankful for both of you. Last but not least, I want to thank my mother, Joyce, who has sacrificed so much for me to make sure I have everything I needed. I would not be standing here without you, without your sacrifice and love. Thank you.
As they leave to go tend to other presidential duties, we do want to take a moment to acknowledge the person who went to Nacogdoches, Texas, to watch Marlene run, our First Lady, Jennifer Maggio. Thank you for being here. Our next inductee on the program was going to be Bo Rayford, but Mike Thornton and other folks who worked with Bo know that the two things about Bo was he always has had a smile on his face, and you could never tell what he was going to do. Well, Bo has been overseas and hadn't been able to get back to Natchitoches yet. We've been trying to induct him for a few years. We will try to recognize him again next year, but he is definitely in the N-Club Hall of Fame, so we want to congratulate Bo and everybody who had a role in his success. Our next inductee has a special introduction, and so I turn you to the screen for his son.
Hi, my name is Richard Kubel. I have the wonderful opportunity and honor to talk about my father, Eric Kubel, my dad, who was able to play basketball here at Northwestern State. And I remember a couple of stories he used to tell me, all of which make me really proud, but one in particular. He used to always tell me stories about how he, had to put in work and make a sacrifice and make sure that he sacrificed a lot of things that he could be doing in his free time to be able to get better and get good at playing at the next level of D1. And one of the stories that he used to always tell us, every kind of weekend or every night that he would find himself in the gym late at night, 12, 1, 2 in the morning, and he would just be working on his game. He would be working on his post game, rebounds, shots, doing anything and everything that he could to make sure that he took his game to the next level. And I really believe as a result of that, he was able to exceed the success and the accomplishments that go with when you work hard. Kevin Durant famously said hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But my dad really mirrored the hard-working aspect. He really took his talents and mirrored them with hard work, and as a result, you see, many of you guys may not know this, but at one point he was the third leading rebounder in the nation across all D1 schools. He was, selected Conference Player of the Year. He was Conference First Team. The awards and everything go on and on. But not only that, I believe that his time here at Northwestern State and the hard work that he put in really elevated him and allowed him to play, professionally overseas, travel all over the world, see amazing countries, play basketball for him, and have the opportunity to travel to a lot of places that I wish I could and play basketball. And I believe that was all as a result of the hard work that he put in, the platform that Northwestern State allowed him to have, the ability to work with him. And not only that, but the hard work doesn't necessarily just stop when it comes to his basketball, but he really showed me what it was like to be a man, to wake up, to go to your job, work hard at it, to make sure you provide for your family, and to give them the best life that they possibly could live. And you don't have to sacrifice what you really want to do in life, but if you work hard at it and you do what you love, you really don't work a day in your life. And that really shows for him. He worked hard to make sure that the talent that he was blessed with, he could make it to the next level and he could actually, do some things with it. And it really makes me proud, and it's an honor to be able to call him my dad. It's an honor to be able to see him get elected to the Hall of Fame, because no one deserves it more than him.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome in-club Hall of Famer Eric Kubel.
I wasn't expecting that, sorry. Thought I was going to be okay and not break down and cry, but that was unexpectedly nice for my son. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, wow. Can I just stand up here and smile for 5 minutes? It's been 23 years since I've stepped foot on this campus. And the first thing I did is go into Prather Coliseum and get a ball and shoot around. A lot of emotions came back. First I want to say thank you. Thank you to the in-club committee who, man, it means a lot that you decided to induct me into the Hall of Fame. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Man, my family, my wife is here today. 12 years of, coming up on 12 years of the best years of my life. Thank you, honey. I love you. Eric Jr. is here. Thank you for making this trip. I appreciate you. And Richard, who made the presentation there. My son was telling me until about half an hour ago that he wanted to come and stand here next to me. Eric Jr., who's 10. And as we got in the building, he's like, yeah, maybe I'll just sit down with Mom. So I'm going to do this by myself. So I know my coaches, they're wonderful. I appreciate Coach Bell. Father figure to me, and I miss him dearly. I haven't seen him in 23 years. Hopefully I can maybe one day see him again. That'd be great. Coach Epps was a big deal to me. He was here all 4 years. They invested all kinds of their time and efforts and patience into me. Mike Thornton, who's here today. I can't think about Mike and not get emotional. Mike was here from day one. We talked about some of the times we had together, some of the tough times, some of the good times, and the last thing I said to him is, how did this happen? How did it happen? Because was night and day. When I first got here, it was different than when I left. And how did it happen? Tony Bobuff, my teammates, Tony Bobuff, Larry Terry, and then Jeff Raymond was our manager. Those guys, I'm very thankful to them for being part of this with me. Now, in 1990, I came to Northwestern NSU in pursuit of my purpose. I knew I was supposed to be here. I knew I was here for a reason. But I didn't experience immediate success. I did not experience immediate success. Little story, I got to travel around the world. In 1999, I went to, my basketball experience took me to Austria. And one day, I went to the Alps. We had to, I was living right by him, so one day I decided to go and go up to the Alps and experience them. So we took the car, went about 3 miles, and there's a trolley. And you take this trolley up, and mind you, when I left the house and when I was driving, when I was traveling, there was storms. It was thunder, it was lightning, it was clouds, it was wind, it was rain, about 4 feet of snow on each side of the road. I mean, it was nasty. Got to the cable car, went up through the clouds, and when I got to the top, through the storm, I looked out, the clouds were below us. The storm was below us. I saw blue sky. I saw the peaks of the mountains coming up through those clouds. Now, in the same way, was my basketball career at Northwestern. My first 2 years, very stormy. I was in that storm. I was, trying to get that car and get through the storm. I mean, it was a storm. It was nasty. So, from the day that I came on my recruiting trip, I remember we get to a restaurant. I'm from California. We go to a restaurant here. I think it was in Shreveport. Sit down, seafood restaurant, order seafood. I'm not sure what it was, but I ordered milk with my seafood. And I looked at the waiter, got a funny look. Oh, milk, okay. Well, okay, I guess we had that. But that started my understanding that, I need to learn some things. I need to, there's a change. There's a change coming. When I got to campus, went into the weight room the first time, tried to bench press the bar. Got the bar up about 3 times, got real sore. I was like, you know what? There's some change coming, right? There's some change coming. I'm in the storm. I remember finally we got into a game. It was time to go into the game. The coach said, hey, get in. So I run down there. He looks at me, watches me go, calls me back, go sit down. I knew there was change coming. I wasn't ready. I'm in the storm. Hours and hours in the Coliseum, daily, nightly, on the weekends. I'm putting in work. Stubborn persistence, hard work. I learned to be coachable and teachable. Now, finally broke through. Actually, before we get there, the summer before my junior year, we sat down. Every year was renewable scholarship. We talked about not renewing my scholarship. I almost didn't make it to my 3rd year here at Northwestern. Persistence. Then I finally, through the storm, went through the clouds, finally started to break through. I saw the sunny skies, started to see some of the peaks come through the clouds. Got a chance to go to New Zealand. Mike Thornton went with me. One of our coaches went. I just asked him, what happened? What happened? I went there, I got back, and the next year I was 20 points, 10 rebounds, I think 2nd team all South End Conference, my senior season, player of the year, just crazy. I asked Mike, what happened? I don't know what happened. Went to New Zealand, but started to experience some of the mountaintops, some of the peaks. So having said all that, that was my experience here at Northwestern. I want to leave you with this. Very important to me was Jesus. So like I said, I pursued my purpose. Ephesians 3:20, God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly above all that I ask or think. God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly above all I ask or think. I experienced that He was with me in the storm. He was with me when I broke through the clouds, when I got to the, when I got above the clouds and saw the mountaintops. He was there the whole time. Thank you, Jesus.
All right, Greg, Coach McConaughey right now is trying to figure out this budget thing so the team can go to New Zealand next summer. But I can tell you, in my job, I get to spend a lot of evenings in Prather Coliseum. And between that summer, between Eric's sophomore and junior years, me, the mouse in my office, and Eric were in the Coliseum a lot. I left some. I'm not sure Eric or the mouse ever did. I mean, he was the gym rat of all gym rats, and that and his faith and the support of people around him made him into a great player. And this is a very special day for us to be able to honor you and your family, Eric. Congratulations. Okay, when Dr. Titano came up with the idea of doing video introductions, there were a lot of us who thought this is just because she doesn't want to give Coach Smith a live mic. That was a wise decision. But as it turns out, his videographer and secretary and love of his life has given him an opportunity to shine on a video screen too. Coach James Smith.
Good morning. Susan, I would like to wish everyone a great day today at NSU Homecoming. Not long ago, Stephanie called and asked if I would introduce her into the In-Club Hall of Fame induction, and I said in a heartbeat, yes, it would be an honor and a pleasure to do so. Stephanie, I met her in 1991. She was a senior at Central Grand Cane, which is a private school right outside of Mansfield, Louisiana, where she lived. And she played basketball and softball, was an outstanding player, tremendous athlete. In high school basketball, she played all 5 positions. Having only 12 or 14 kids in her senior class, she had to stretch herself pretty thin there during basketball. But a tremendous athlete. We signed her hoping that she could play the point, but knowing that she could play the 2 if we had to have the 2 spot. After a couple of weeks of practice, we realized that we had the diamond in the rough. We had the point guard that we needed. Stephanie, as a point guard, had what coaches like to call it, whatever it is, but I think it is personality, and she had that. She was a tremendous competitor and worked hard. There's a lot of things that coaches have to teach and coach, but one thing with her was effort. She never had to coach effort. She was going to bring it in practice, and she was going to bring it in the game. And when you say Stephanie Shaw, that's what I think about. How hard she worked, how hard she played, how hard she competed. We signed her, like I said, out of Central Grand Cane. She came to Northwestern in 92, 93, and right away we were very successful. In 4 years at Northwestern, we averaged 22 wins per year for her 4 years, 88 wins over a 4-year period. During that span, she had tremendous support from her family. Her mom and dad very proud of her. Her dad, Toby, her mother, Sis. She has 2 sisters, Michelle and Jennifer, Northwestern people. And they followed us and enjoyed the 4 years watching Stephanie play, and she enjoyed having her family there. She has a tremendous amount of accomplishments within that 4-year period of playing time. But her senior year was a year that I remember best and cherish the most. And that year we beat Iowa, Clemson, and Notre Dame. We beat Iowa out at the Stanford tournament. Then we made it to the NIT at the end of the year. The team was good enough to be in the NCAA tournament, but we were overlooked, and we ended up in the NIT and We beat Clemson in the first round. We beat Notre Dame in the second round, 103-93, and lost in the finals to Texas A&M. But what a wonderful year, a wonderful time of those 4 years. During those 4-year periods, Stephanie averaged 1,300. She scored 1,300 points during that time span. Now you have to realize that she was playing with some dynamic players in Josh King Garner and Angela Simpson, who were tremendous scorers in their own right. So she not only had to share the ball, she had to be the point guard and deliver it where it was needed, but she also had the ability to score. She could take it to the hole, she could pull up and hit the jumper, and she could guard. That was one thing that she could definitely do, was guard you, and made it very difficult for the opposing team. In 1998, Stephanie came back to Northwestern and as an assistant coach. She stayed from 1998 to 2002. In 2002, she began her family and had to stay back home in Mansfield with her children. But during that 4-year span, we also averaged 22 points a game during that time. Stephanie now coaches at North DeSoto High School. She's a very successful coach. She's a Northwestern person through and through, a young lady that is special to me. I'll never forget the way she played. She played hard, and the laugh. She had that giggle that you'll never forget. But probably the biggest tribute I can give to her, we had finished playing a game in our hated rivalry, playing over at Stephen F. Austin. It was the last time we would be at Stephen F. Austin during her career. And as we were leaving the Coliseum, this elderly couple came up and said, Coach, is that Shaw girl, is she a senior this year? And I said, she sure is. And they said, boy, we're going to miss watching that number 30 play. And I thought to myself, lady, you're not the only one. We all will. And we haven't had a point guard with her character and the way she carried herself since. It is an honor and a pleasure for me to present to you Stephanie Shaw Locke into the In-Club Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Please welcome In-Club Hall of Famer Stephanie Shaw Locke.
Whew, good Lord, son. Eric, I'm with you, brother. I think we should just stay in here for about 5 minutes, call it a day. It's kind of funny, though. You'll hear in my little thing that I wrote how much me and Coach Smith still are on the same page. Coach Emmons, man, it's good to see you, man. So good. I'm honored and I'm humbled to have been selected by the In-Club Committee to join past recipients who I've long admired and respected. So to the committee, I want to say thank you. To the other recipients of the award, I want to say thank you, and I just hope that we all realize what an honor it is to do so. To my team that's here, thank you for coming. To my high school teammates that are here, thank you. My college teammates, thank you. Eric, when you were talking, me and Lou we were pointing at each other because we knew what you meant, man. I'd also like to say thank you to my parents, and this is where me and Coach Smith say the same thing. I'd be nothing without the love and support of my family. Not just what you show me today, but what you show me every day. You've instilled in me the importance of my character, my morals, and my values. You've taught me that if I work hard, if I keep God first, and I stay the course, that great things are going to follow. I couldn't have handpicked a better set of people to be my parents, and it's an honor to call them mine. Daddy, thank you for all those long rides home after each game when you told me about 10 times, about 100 times, how many things that I had done wrong in that game and exactly what we were going to do to make them right. Little did I know then that you were just teaching me discipline and persistence. Mama, Thank you for picking me up after all those rides, picking up all those pieces, for all the cookies that you made, for all the bags of bubble gum that you bought, and for all the letters of motivation that you wrote. You've always been my number one fan, not only in sports but in life, and forever I'll be grateful. I want to thank both of them for following me my whole career, when I knew that there were times where your money and your efforts and your time should have been spent other places. So I appreciate the sacrifices that you made. I know that this day is to honor us as inductees, but today I choose to honor you guys. I'd be nowhere in the world without Jesus. Kubel, you said it right, son. The support of my husband, the support of my 2 daughters, the support of my sisters, my family, my friends, my teams past and present. The real winner is Coach Smith. Coach Smith and Miss Susan. Miss Susan, thank you for taking us in as part of your family. Not just me, but all the teams I played on. You fed us, you loved us, you encouraged us, and you watched us grow. We spent more time with them than we did our own family. Coach Smith, thank you for giving that little girl at Central a chance. Not only did you give me a chance, but you believed in me. Thank you for loving me like your own child and molding me into the coach that I am today. You taught me so many life lessons on and off the court. Thank you for bringing me back to Northwestern after I left to coach with you and Coach Schuler. Those times we've had some good times. Memories that we won't discuss. But that is what made me who I am. I was talking to Nancy Abear, Hetzler now, and Angela Lucius last week, and I was telling them how nervous I was to get up here and talk, and we were wondering, Coach, why you just didn't say, ladies, look, just trust me, believe me, think like I think, and you'll see that we do, because I'm saying the same thing he does, and do as I say. But instead, when you were talking about trust, you said, if I tell you that a chicken dips snuff, you better check under its wing. Whenever you talked about endurance, you would say, Shaw, you can hold a snuff box over a bear's nose for that long. And for critical thinking, you would say, Shaw, you don't know if you're scratching your watch or winding your butt. And then loyalty, which is the biggest. You said, once a lady demon, always a lady demon. For my teammates, or my team members here, you see a lot of those qualities, right? The qualities that Coach Smith possessed are the qualities that I try to emulate as a coach. He loved us like his children. You were there when we needed you. You laughed with us. You disciplined us. Lou, how did he discipline us? Whew. He cried with us. Well, more so we cried and he patted. And the most important thing is he danced with us. I don't know if y'all remember boogieing on the bricks. We danced there. Lou, at our wedding, after our daddy-daughter dance, we had a second daddy-daughter dance, right? And that was with our second daddy. And that's what he is. Whew. So you did that for us, and in return, we loved you back. We gave you everything that we had. We honored you. We respected you. And most importantly, we won. 88-33 to be exact. 22 wins a year is good, but 88-33. I'll never forget the day that I told Coach Smith that I was going to have to go home and be a mom. I remember how hard it was to actually say those words to him. One, because I'd be leaving him, and then two, because I'd be leaving Northwestern. Because Northwestern is home. You told me one thing when I left. You said, baby, you got to remember this. You got to remember that those bricks won't love you back. And you're right. It's the people. From the moment I came on my visit with Nancy and the host, you told them, go show her to have a good time. Let her have a good time and let her come. So from that day to the day that I left, it was about the people. Johnny Emmons, Mr. Hicks, Mike McConaughey, Doug, Coach Johnson, Greg, everybody in this room, everybody that loved us. That's what it was about. The people here made NSU, made me love it so much. It was the family bond, not with just my teammates and my coaches, but with the professors here and the students here. NSU is home, it's family, it's loyalty, and it's tradition. Pork 'em Demons.
Tony Joe, the good news is you're about to go to the In Club Hall of Fame. The bad news is you have to follow that. But I have to say, if you had to pick somebody to follow that, Bradley Del Pivito is not a bad pick.
Hello, Demons. A few months ago, I received a phone call from Tony Joe Moranto. Tony Joe asked me if I would give his induction speech into the In Club Hall of Fame. I can't begin to tell you how much pride I felt at that moment. It was like my own son had asked me to be his best man. I pulled my car over and began to cry. I was simply overwhelmed. Tony Joe played football at Northwestern State University from 1994 to 1997. He was offered a half scholarship of tuition and books from head coach Sam Goodwin. This was the only scholarship offer that Tony Joe received. In 1 year, he had earned a full scholarship, a promise that head coach Sam Goodwin had made him. Little did the Demon Nation know that Tony Joe Moranto was headed for greatness, and he would carry the Demon football team on his back. Over 30 years of coaching, I've had the privilege to coach some great players, as well as some great young men. Tony Joe Moranto is at the top of that list. He was the total package as a football player. He was very physical. His skill set in space was spectacular. He was smart, instinctive, hardworking, and very passionate about the game. He could tackle like a linebacker, cover like a corner, and had the ball skills of a wide receiver. I don't think Tony Joe ever missed a tackle. Tony Joe had the ability to make the wrong call right and the innate ability to overcome coaching. He was our quarterback on the field, getting us in the right checks, fronts, and coverages. He was a fearless leader that led our team every day. Our football team went as Tony Joe went. He was our captain. He was our heart and soul. Tony Joe was the kind of player that made everyone around him better. In 1997, Tony Joe helped lead the Demons to a conference championship and a first-round playoff berth against Eastern Washington. That year, he was elected team captain, earned Southland Conference honors as well as All-American honors. Tony Joe had 6 career interceptions, countless pass breakups, and 2 defensive touchdowns. As my son Jake likes to say, Tony Joe was a beast. Tony Joe was not redshirted and did not play on the 1998 team that also won a conference championship and hosted UMass in the semifinals at Turpin Stadium. I truly believe if that team had Tony Joe play in that year, that we would have won the 1998 FCS National Championship. Tony Joe was our missing link. Tony Joe had a very rewarding pro career. He was with the Saints during the 98-99 season. He played in NFL Europe with the Frankfurt Galaxy during the 99-2000 season, where his team won the World Bowl. He was with the Cleveland Browns of the NFL during the 2000 season. Tony Joe had a tremendous amount of determination and played at the highest level, the NFL. One of Tony Joe's most rewarding honors was when he was inducted into the top 100 Demons in 2007. Understand the history of Northwestern State football over 110 years, we would all agree that this is a very elite and distinguished group to be associated with. As much as Tony Joe has given of himself on the field, that big heart of his is carried over to many endeavors off the field, especially when it comes to helping the Demons. He returns every year to raise money for the Demon football team in the annual Demon Golf Tournament, and is always there to lend a helping hand whenever the Demons call. Tony Joe and his beautiful wife Kelly are the proud parents of Marley, age 9, and Brock, age 6. Tony Joe is a great husband and a great father. Our families have spent a lot of time together, and I'm so proud of the family man that Tony Joe has become. His family is his #1 priority. Tony Joe and Kelly have Kelly's mom, Miss Corky, living with them. Miss Corky is bedridden and needs around-the-clock care. When I asked Tony Joe why she was living with them, he responded, "I just couldn't bear to see her placed in a nursing home." Wow. How many of us would go that extra mile? This is just another example of the type man Tony Joe Moranto is. I would like to say congratulations to Mike and Jeannie, Tony Joe's mom and dad. I know how proud you guys are of our boy. Mike and Jeannie are great people, and the apple did not fall very far from the tree. Above all of Tony Joe's accomplishments, accolades, and glowing qualities, the thing I have most admired about him is his humility. You see, it has never been about Tony Joe. It has always been about the team and others. For Tony Joe, it's just fundamental. It's just who he is. A very humble man that has never forgotten where he came from. Well, Demon fans, I could go on forever about Tony Joe. As most of you know, he is very special. Tony Joe is a demon through and through. If you cut him open, he would bleed purple and white. At this time, it's my honor and great privilege to introduce to you and add to the long line of Northwestern Demon greats of the very distinguished In-Club Hall of Fame, a legend in his own right. Number 10, Mr. Tony Joe Moranto. Congratulations, Tony Joe. I love you, Big Daddy. Link it up and fork 'em demons.
In-Club Hall of Famer, Tony Joe Moranto.
Wow. Stephanie, that is y'all too hard to follow, so I got to keep to the script because I can go on forever. I'd like to thank the In-Club selection for this tremendous honor in joining an outstanding group of athletes within the In-Club Hall of Fame. I'd also like to thank Greg Burke and his staff, his tremendous staff, as much as they work and everything they do for this program is incredible, and I appreciate that, Greg. Donnie Cox is in the room. He's a special guy for me. He actually recruited me right before I came up here, and when I came back to coach here, he was instrumental as well, and I appreciate that, Coach Cox. I want to extend a special congratulations to Coach Maggia. I know he's gone now, but I really appreciate everything he's done, and I'm so glad he's our new president, and we're lucky as Northwestern State Demons to have him. I'm honored to celebrate this award with my wife, Kelly, my daughter, Marley, and my son, Brock. I'm truly humbled by this induction and know that it would not have been possible without my coaching staff that always pushed me to my fullest potential, my parents, who was always my biggest fans and traveled any distance, including when I played in Europe, and last but not least, my teammates that continue to be some of my strongest relationships in this game of life. Each one of you are instrumental in this Hall of Fame recognition becoming my reality today. I want to give a special thanks to my parents, Mike and Jeannie. They made tremendous sacrifice for me. Their guidance helped me learn how to lift weights, work hard, be disciplined, and stay dedicated. There were many nights where a lot of my friends in high school wanted to go party and do things like that, and I was wanting to go work out with them at Don's Fitness in Baton Rouge. So things changed when we got to college. But anyway, I really appreciate everything my parents did. I was just a country boy from Bush, Louisiana. It's nowhere outside of Baton Rouge. I grew up in the middle of sugarcane fields, and all I wanted to do was be the best football player I could be. My parents instilled a do-whatever-it-takes mentality for me and my brothers for anything that we ever wanted to do, and I'm so thankful for everything that they've ever done for us. A great coach that made me the player I was is Gary Atkins. He's not able to be here physically, but I have no doubt that he's looking down on me at this very moment. Coach Gary Atkins made me not only the physically tough, but mentally tough player. I endured physical and mental abuse from him daily, which prepared me to be tough. There wasn't a training room at Port Allen High, so in Coach's mindset, you wasn't hurt unless a bone was sticking out. He was the main reason I signed with Northwestern. Coach Atkins played under the great Red Franklin at Haynesville High School and carried a physically tough mentality to Port Allen High. And as he coached me throughout my 4 years there, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. So Coach Atkins, thank you for your leadership, guidance, and most of all, love for the game. Another great coach that made this recognition possible is Coach Sam Goodwin. After what I thought was a great senior year of high school, I wasn't just disappointed not to get offers on signing day, I was devastated. I had a coach from USL tell me I was too slow. LSU told me I was too slow and not tall enough. Johnny Nagel at Magnes, some people know Johnny Nagel, told me he couldn't guarantee anything but come on and walk on. I couldn't even get an offer from Nicholls State at the time, which is, I don't think they won a game at that time in a long time. So it was pretty bleak. But Coach Goodwin saw something that no one else did. After a week of signing day, I received a call from Coach Goodwin and accepted an invitation to come up to Northwestern. There he offered me a partial scholarship, a tuition, and books. And I'll never forget when I went in that meeting room with Coach Goodwin, he told me, he looked me in the eyes and he said, when you become the player I think you can be, I'll give you a full scholarship. And I looked him right back in the eyes and said, I won't let you down. I will not let you down. I promise you. I really appreciate he took a chance on me when no one else did. I watched this coach for 4 years take chances on players like me and succeed with them. He saw something in guys other than your size, your vertical jump, your 40-yard dash time, or how many stars Rivals.com had you at. He saw football players. Coach Goodwin, thank you for taking a chance on this country boy that was ready to prove not only to himself but all those that passed on that it was their loss. And I played with a huge chip on my shoulder. I was grateful to learn so much from some of the greatest coaches in the collegiate game when I came here to Northwestern State. I share many stories where I let everyone know our coaching staff could have coached anywhere in the country for any team. I was lucky to learn so much from Jack Curtis, who had to mold this high school quarterback with very little defensive experience from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball. Coach Curtis truly has a gift to take average guys and make them good. I know this because I was one of them. He was a technician. He taught us to have the same mindset. Be physical but play with good technique. Coach Curtis's coaching style felt more like individual time rather than daily team practice. I don't regret any of those minutes doing individual because our secondary play showed on tape. I remember calling Coach Curtis when I was playing pro football to tell him that these coaches on the level don't teach us any technique and he can run circles around these guys. I was fortunate to see him this summer and reminded him that he's still the best secondary coach in the country. Last but not least, Coach Pivoteau. Peve was the third defensive coordinator I had in 3 years. He brought such a contagious energy and defensive scheme that was simple. Attack, attack, attack. Swarm became our motto. He wanted us to swarm the football and have 11 demons around the ball on every play. Peve had a special quality of bringing the whole team together, like when he had introduced the link in 1996, which players and coaches still wear today. We were just a bunch of average players that were willing to run through a wall or take a bullet for Peve because he had a way to make his defense believe that they were the best defense on the field and best defense in the country. He made us feel like we can line up and beat anybody. Pete brought out a side of me to where I physically wanted to rearrange the body of the person carrying the ball or catching the ball on every snap. I got mad if I couldn't make the play. He told us if we swarmed to the ball, good things would happen. Pete was not only a coach, but he was a mentor. He would talk to us after practice and make sure that we knew the game of football is like the game of life. Football is fun, but it doesn't last forever. Pete didn't want us not only to succeed on the football field, but he wanted us to succeed in the classroom and in life. One of Pete's biggest recruits in NSU history was bringing in, and he still retained through all these coaches, and that's Coach Black. Pete brought Coach Black here in 1996, and, back then he wasn't as demanding as he is today, but thank you, Coach Black, for being here. Now I want to take the opportunity to thank my teammates because I would not have accomplished anything without them. We won as a group, we lost as a group, but most importantly, we were one. We had good times, bad times, and found a way to work through it. We were a pretty tight group of guys. We faced a ton of adversity early in 1997, and I think that's why our team is so special. And we had a deal last night, and it was the 97 team, and everybody said the same thing. And I had that in my speech already, but it was truly special. We had so much stuff happen, and Coach Goodwin said it perfect last night. I don't think anybody would have wanted to replay anything we did, but we had Rob Robertson's house burned down. Jay Olive had an infant son that died of SIDS. This is all in August, right before the season started. Rob Daniels, who was Coach Goodwin, I didn't realize that. He was the 4th-ranked defensive end in football, 1AA. going into the 97 season. He blows a knee at the last scrimmage before we played our first game. Also, in the first game of the season, our starting tailback, Brian Jaquette, broke his leg. So we had a tremendous amount of adversity, and we lost the game to Southern, and then we had a demoralizing loss to McNeese, 50-7, that same year. But Coach Goodwin and his staff did an unbelievable job just keeping the team on track despite all of that adversity, and I truly believe that's why we were champions, because we had so much to overcome, and it bonded the team together. I believe team continuity is everything in football. You can sign all the stars you want, but if you can't get them to play together, you just have a team of really good athletes. But when you have a band of brothers fighting as one, like the 97 Demons did, you can accomplish anything. In closing, I'll always cherish my time at Northwestern State and the lifetime friendships I formed with my brothers. I hope that my story teaches my daughter Marley and son Brock never to give up on your dreams. Hard work, discipline, and dedication can create opportunities when you set your mind to it. Thank you, and Forkum Demons.
Thank you, brother. It's always a challenge when the inductees are notified that they're going to be honored, and they have to pick somebody out of the many people who were tremendous influences to introduce them. Well, Ronnie, he's got 2 head coaches here at Northwestern. He's got twice as many teammates as anybody else, because he was on the track team with about 70, and he's on the football team with about 100. So who do you pick? Well, he was a great football player, partly because he ran real fast, and partly the reason was for running real fast was that he had a great coach. Now, everybody who knows Coach Leon Johnson knows how authentic a human being he is. So his introduction was taped outside, and you'll enjoy what he has to say, and you'll also enjoy the locust in the background. When he finished, Haley looked at him and said, "Coach, that locust is really loud. We might want to do it again." He says, "Nope." He says, "I've said what I need to say. Hopefully that locust helps a little bit." So if you hear the locust, smile a little bit, but enjoy the authenticity of Leon Johnson.
Good morning. I would like to introduce you to Ronnie Powell, a 2-time, 3-time All-American at Northwestern State University, track and field. While Ronnie was in high school at Hope, Arkansas, he was a 3-sport letterman, excelling in football and track. During Ronnie's senior year, his dad became deathly sick and passed away. And Ronnie was left with his mother to help raise his sisters and brothers, and there were 7 in the family. Ronnie's lifelong goal was to play Division I football. Well, he put that on hold so he could be close to his family. After Ronnie had led Arkansas Tech to a 7-3 record, up from a 1-9 the year before, he is even more convinced he could play Division I football. So he started searching for a school that had no returning running backs. There was a Division I school, and that search led him to Northwestern. Now, I will never forget that day. I was in the parking lot. Ronnie drove up, got out of the car, and I stopped him and introduced myself to him. I said, "Who are you here to see?" He said, "Well, I'd like to see Coach Goodwin, the head football coach." I said, "Well," says, "do you have an appointment?" He said, "No, I don't have an appointment. I just took a chance that he would be here." So I took Ronnie into Sam's office, and Ronnie and Sam had a good talk for about 30 minutes. And eventually, Sam got around to telling Ronnie, he said, "Ronnie, we'd love to have you on the team. but were out of scholarships. Thank goodness I had one. So I told Ronnie if he'd like to split his time between track and football, I'd be happy to give him a full scholarship. He said, Coach, that's great because my mother cannot afford to pay my way to school since my dad is dead. So Ronnie enrolled in that spring semester. He came to the track where he would work 3 days a week, work 2 days a week with football. And things worked out very good because he became a star in both sports. Ronnie led Northwestern in football to 2 conference championships back to back, and even more convinced that he could play Division I football at that point. But we were 1AA at that time. But as things worked out, he stayed with us, didn't transfer because he had to lose a year of eligibility to transfer. He wasn't drafted after his final season, but he signed a free agent contract with the Browns. And he told the Browns, says, I'll sign a free agent contract on one stipulation, that you'll let me go back to Northwestern this spring to help them win an outdoor track and field championship. And the Browns were agreeable to that, so Ronnie came back to Northwestern. He led our team to a team championship with Stephen F. Austin that year. It was unbelievable at the performances we had that year on the track, simply due to Ronnie's leadership. This time I'd like to present a 3-time All-American at Northwestern State University, Ronnie Powell.
Please welcome in-club Hall of Famer, 3-time All-American, Ronnie Powell. This is the slowest I've ever seen him move.
That's what happens when time slows you down. I would like to thank everyone for being here. Thank faculty. And everyone in the NSU family. Today is very special to me, not only because the N-Club chose me to be a part of this, but I haven't been back here in 20 years. And excuse me. I thought being in the Army was hard, but I had some really good years here. And how do you sum it up? Like you said, I have so many memories, friends, coaches. I don't even know where to begin. But I would like to thank my mother for her sacrifice to be able to keep me at the university. You know, I think without her wanting me to run track and play football, I probably would have gave it up a long time ago. But she enjoyed seeing her son run. Well, being the decent son I was, that's the least I could give her, you know, that enjoyment. I would like to thank Coach Goodwin for scheduling to meet with me unannounced. But the funniest thing I had to tell you was upon getting to the university, my mom, I think she was an agent for the university. Coach Johnson and her was around talking, showing her the previous athletes that come through university. And next thing I knew, he comes throwing me a jersey, talking about meeting him the next day on the track field. Because my mom, being moms, she tells him that she think I can beat one of his best sprinters. And I'm like, where you get that from? You know, I hadn't ran, track in 3 years prior to that, so I was like, okay. But nevertheless, I ended up being here. I want to thank you two coaches for allowing me the opportunity in the university, for sticking by me. Coach Goodwin, he promised me that I would be an outstanding defensive back when I came here. And fate would have it, that wasn't in my cards. Not because of him, and I've always been a team player, but it took some convincing. It took some convincing. I don't know if he called my mom or not, but it took his, my love for the sport was truly genuine. I never went home thinking about what I could have done. I've always left it on the field. And those small qualities is what I want to instill in my sons and daughter. Doesn't matter where you go to school. If you want to make it in life, it's about being genuine about your approach to whatever you do. And as you taught me, humility, respect. And you always hear them stories about the university chewing you up, spitting you out. I never experienced that. And my main reason for showing up to practice way before Coach and them wanted me to, because y'all had some awesome tailgate parties. And being from Arkansas, I never experienced this type of cooking. And I didn't know half the people I was eating under the tents. They was just like, come on, enjoy yourself. I've been a lot of places, but I never found that kind of love from my family. I say extended family that would welcome you, feed you, and cheer you on in the same day. So I have many stories to tell you, but y'all wouldn't want to hear them all. But I'll tell you a quick one about Leon Johnson. Back in his heyday, he's quiet until you tick him off. And he would throw his athletes against anybody in the nation and stand behind you 100%. And I was always privileged to represent him. And it's for what they taught me and what they allowed me to learn from them so I can teach mine. This day is special for many reasons. And I just would like to thank y'all for being here. And may we have a good day today and a wonderful night tonight. And I hope we win. Go Demons.
Okay, immediately after the ceremony, there's going to be a special 100-meter match race between Marlene and Ronnie. And if either one of them can stop crying, we'll start it, okay? All right. It's fascinating to me that so many of our presenters are so accomplished, and you think about Coach Pivito, the other universities that he's coached at. He's coaching in the SEC right now. And for our next presenter, he's been at Nebraska. He's been in the College World Series with them. He's been in the College World Series coaching as a head coach with Texas A&M. So bear that in mind when you listen to Rob Childress and what he has to say.
Howdy, Demons. What an honor it is to have been asked to present Brian Lawrence to the In-Club Hall of Fame. I received a call a couple of weeks ago asking if I would present Brian, and to be honest, I got goosebumps reflecting on the recruiting, the coaching, and the watching of Brian's every pitch on Friday night in 1997-98. Sometimes he caused the other team to pitch off and not match up their best against Brian Lawrence. That's how good and how consistent Brian was for the Demons. Brian and I both grew up in the piney woods of East Texas, so we had that in common when I started recruiting Brian out of his hometown Panola Junior College in Carthage, Texas in the fall of 1995. It's obvious that Brian was the best of the best in Texas Junior College, and he had an incredible feel to pitch. He would suffocate the opponent with strikes, and he had a slider that he could throw anytime, any count. He was fearless. He was recruited by many Division I schools after the Junior College All-Star game in the fall of 1995. When we finally got Brian on a visit to Natchitoches, we had offered him a full scholarship. And for those of you that don't know about Division I baseball scholarship limitations, we only get 11.7 scholarships a year. Full scholarships do not exist. During my 30-year coaching career, I've only offered 2 full scholarships. One was to Brian Lawrence, the other was to Clayton Kershaw. That's how much I love Brian Lawrence. Brian's statistics and the team's successes during his career at Northwestern State are only part of the reason he's being inducted into the In-Club Hall of Fame today. You see, there's so much more to the Brian Lawrence story than many of you know. Over the last 30 years of coaching, I've come to realize that most people are who they're going to be when they're 18 to 20 years old. Sure, there's going to be a little change here and there, but for the most part, you can see who they're going to be when they're 40 years old. From the minute I started recruiting Brian, you could tell he was just different than most. Brian was incredibly mature, beyond his years, and incredibly driven to be the best and to be a great teammate. He worked and he treated others like he was the last man on the roster. Over the last 15 years, when I've dropped my kids off at school, I've always told Hannah and Max both the same thing. Be kind, considerate, and humble. Do right, be a leader. Looking back, that is and was Brian Lawrence. You see, Brian's different. Brian was a 17th round pick as a senior by the San Diego Padres. 17th round, senior signs last maybe 2 or 3 years in minor league baseball. Brian carved out a 13-year pro career, pitched in the major leagues for 7 of those, won 50 major league games, and was an opening day starter in the big leagues. When you think of the most recent 4 inductees that I know in the In-Club Hall of Fame, Reggie Gatewood, Terry Joseph, Brian Anholt, and now Brian Lawrence, they all have the same characteristics, the same drive to be successful in all that truly matters, to be great husbands, to be great fathers, and to make a positive impact in this world. Today, Brian is an incredible husband, an incredible father of his 2 daughters, and a minor league pitching coach. Brian's making an impact each and every day that he wakes up because of the opportunities that Northwestern State University athletics gave him in 1997 and 1998. Today, it's my true honor to present Brian Lawrence to the In-Club Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Please welcome In-Club Hall of Famer, Brian Lawrence.
Thank you. Probably start off by apologizing. I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at, and speaking is something I'm not good at. So I'll go ahead and apologize up front. I'm probably going to stumble over my words a little bit, but we'll get through it. First, I'd like to thank the committee for this great honor. I'm truly honored to be here. It's not really something I think you ever think about or dreams even possible, I guess. But thank you. And Northwestern, proud to have gone to school here. Big stepping stone in my career in baseball, and the opportunity they gave me to play Division I baseball. I wouldn't change that for anything. I wasn't highly recruited, I would say. I had some offers. I was good enough to get drafted out of high school, but I didn't have a Division I scholarship, which I thought was weird at the time. But maybe it's because the small town I grew up in, the exposure just wasn't there. But it kind of was a blessing, I think, because it led me to junior college in East Texas and then eventually here, which, like I said, I wouldn't have traded for anything else. Out of junior college, I had narrowed it down to two places I wanted to go to school, Alabama being one, and here. And then when I made the visit to Northwestern, I drove on campus, and I knew this was the place for me. Dave Van Horn was the coach, and Rob Childress was the pitching assistant coach, and they made me feel welcome and made me feel like, I was a piece that they really wanted, and that's the thing that I looked forward to, and coming here and helping us. We won 2 conference championships, 97, 98. We fell short in the tournament, which I regret. I remember pitching the last game and losing, and it's one of the toughest losses of my career, really. But it was great times. I like to thank some of the people that have helped along the way. Greg Burke, obviously, for the things you do for Northwestern Athletics. Being able to compete with a small market like we have here and do the things we do on the athletic side is truly tremendous, and you do a great job, you and your staff. Kind of going down the coaches, Dave Van Horn, who's here, they moved on, him and Rob Childress, to Nebraska in my senior year at mid-semester, which was kind of rare. And Lane Burrows was one of our assistants, and he helped transition us into hiring John Cohen. And he took over for the time and really took a hold of our team in a time that we were kind of lost. We didn't have a coach, and we were looking. And again, Greg Burke did a great job including us in the process of choosing a coach, getting our input on the nominees he had mid-semester, and eventually bringing in John Cohen my senior year and help leading us to another conference championship. Going back to the beginning, I'd like to thank my parents for all the travel opportunities, to and from practice, Sorry. They're a good pair for me. My dad always told me what I did wrong, what I could do better, and my mom told me I was the best ever. So I had them both, and it kind of helped me be the person that I became, and I thank you. My family, my kids, 2 little girls, They look exactly like their mom, luckily. They couldn't be here. They have things, school going on, and tonight actually is father-daughter dance, which is, I couldn't be there, but their uncle's going to take them, so they're not going to miss out on that. And then my wife, who keeps us together in the summer. Thank you. It's kind of amazing. I can stand up in front of 40,000 people and face the best hitters in the world, but this scares the hell out of me. Thank you. Being a minor league coach, the travel is something it's hard. Each summer I'm kind of in a different spot, and going to spring training, being there away from my family is hard, but my wife, Mary Pat, does a great job keeping us together and doing all the traveling in the summer, and being together in that time is very important. I couldn't do what I do without her. Hopefully, looking around, I'd like to thank my teammates that were here. Brandon being one. He was a quarterback and also our closer on our team. Some of my opportunities, I think, kind of go back to him. I think about it. He was a big prospect our senior year and my senior year, and a lot of the scouts came out to watch him close a game, but guess who they had to watch to get to him? Me. So, I had a lot of scouts see me, I believe, through that process when they were actually coming out to watch him. So thank you. Appreciate that. And everybody else that made our team what it was, back-to-back conference champs and a really good time in my life. Playing professional baseball, the fun is out of it, really. It's a job. You're playing for your career every day, and there's a lot of guys trying to take your job. Northwestern was kind of the last time that baseball was fun for me. And so I look back on those times and really enjoyed it. In closing, I really am proud to be here, and if I hopefully didn't leave anybody out, but thanks to everybody, the committee. Like I said, I don't know if I truly deserve being here, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
You closed it. That was good stuff. Manny, he wasn't a reliever, but he sure did a heck of a job. He earned the save with that. That was impressive. That's true. All right, Hall of Fame members have been previously inducted. Please come join me on the stage. Sam Leon, Glenn Talbert, and the rest of you, Steve Graff, Daryl Toussaint. Y'all come on down now. Coach Smith. And our 2017 class, and I mean class, would y'all please join us on stage now, the new inductees. Marlene Garner-Gibson, Eric Kubel, Stephanie Shaw-Locke, Tony Joe Moranto, Ronnie Powell, and Brian Lawrence. Coach Emmons, you're going to stay right there because you are the Grand Demon. A lot of schools talk about tradition. A lot of schools have some great moments. Nobody has any better people than we do who compete for this school, and these are the best of the best. Congratulations to all of you, and especially our class of 2017. Okay, we'll get a group picture. Pardon me? One more time. That's a very good point. My notes escape me. But nobody sings better than Coach Goodwin. We need the fight song, Coach.
All right, yeah, we can do that. Everybody up.
That's right.
Sing loud. Here we go. Ready? Go, ye demons, take the field. Northwestern demons never yield. Fight, demons, win tonight. Victory is on our side. Go, fight, win. Purple and white shall ever reign, filling the air with battle strain. So, demon, ever stand and fight for dear old demon land. Hey!